Welcome to ToutSuite's Not Taking Orders. Tonight you will notice that we have some new faces here. We have DDA, who's usually behind the cameras, and Christian as well. And Christian, you have an interesting background, so we're really excited to have you today. Christian is going to be teaching us all about tequila, which is amazing because usually I'm not allowed to have tequila. So Christian, tell me what it is that you do and how did you get to Napa Valley?
Well, I've been coming to Napa Valley from a long time, maybe 5 years or more. I'm a sommelier in Mexico, in Esperanza Resort, which is an auberge resort. And I'm from Guadalajara City, which is the region where it's the heart of the region of to produce tequila. Yes.
Oh.
So I'm also a tequila expert or a master tequilero, and I've been in this business for over 10 years.
So a master
tequilero.
How do you pronounce that? With your
Tequilero.
accents, you sound
Yeah.
so much better.
Yeah,
I'm from Missouri, so I'm going to screw
it.
this up. Tequilero?
Tequilero. Maestro tequilero, if you want to say it.
So is that like a master sommelier, but for tequila?
Yes.
So you can answer all of our tequila questions.
I'm going to try, but
Okay.
I'm sure that I can.
Okay, good. So let's start like at the basics because I'm a bourbon girl and I
Right.
love wine, but I don't know a thing about tequila except for how to drink margaritas. So if you could, what is tequila? Is a distilled spirit?
Tequila
Yes?
tequila is a spirit. Tequila, it came from a region in Jalisco state.
Okay.
Tequila, it's made with blue agave, and it's one of our oldest spirits in Mexico. But talking about tequila, it's talking also about mezcal. And mezcal is the plant from where we obtain tequila. And mezcal, agave, in the past was called mezcal. The agave plant, it's something that we used to obtain paper, to obtain materials to do clothes and robes and sandals, and we used the whole leaf to make the roof of the houses. That was hundreds of years ago.
So that's similar to hemp here in Northern California?
Yes.
But different because you can't distill it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
Mezcal, just to come back, like you have like a tribe of Apaches, the Mezcaleros.
the mezcaleros. Yes.
Yeah, that's like related to that.
What happened is in Mexico.
How about John Wayne? You know what I'm saying?
In Mexico, it's very known tequila because it's the most popular one, but it's all about where you're going. If you go to the south, to Oaxaca or Guerrero, they don't drink tequila, they drink mezcal. So if you go to Jalisco or Mexico City or Monterrey towards the north, we drink tequila, especially in Jalisco. But we also have pulque, and we also have sotol, and we also have all these different kinds of spirits and fermented beverage. But the most popular is tequila.
But this is coming. All those beverages are coming from blue agave.
Not just tequila came from the blue agave.
Yeah.
The rest came from the agave, but in Mexico we have over 200 different types of agave plants.
Oh my goodness.
So 28 are used to make the mezcal, and just one it's used to make the tequila, which is the blue agave. Wow. So you have Tepextate, you have Bicuiche, you have Espadín, you have all those kinds of agaves that you can use to elaborate mezcal. And we have 8 states in the country allowed to produce mezcal because it has an appellation as well. Yeah. And we have 5 states of the country allowed to produce tequila, which also has an appellation. Those 2 appellations are recognized around the world.
So you have like a master tequilero.
Yes, Maestro Tequilero.
Really?
Yes, Master Tequilero, yes. So I've been...
From Tikal.
Sorry?
From mezcal.
Not mezcal. Mezcal it will be
Master
different.
Mezcalero.
Maestro Mezcalero is different. I'm more. I learn, and I'm because it's part of our culture. I try to
Focus.
taste and also travel in the mezcal regions. But my focus is in tequila.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about tequila. How is it? So you grow the blue agave plant.
Yes, the plant takes 7 to 10 years to be ready for the harvesting.
Wow.
When it's ready, it's because accumulate enough starch in the heart. So after 7 to 10 years, you cut off all the leaves, takes the heart, and you cook that. And
Looks like a pine.
Exactly, it looks like a pineapple.
Yeah.
Yes, we call it piñas actually. So you cook that in these ovens, and then you transform all the starch into sugar. Then you smash that, obtain this kind of nectar, very rich in sugar. and then you ferment that. You make fermentation process, and then you distill that twice. And after second distillation, you can it could be called tequila. Yes.
So you only get one harvest per plant?
Yes, then you have to replant again, and you
For
have to
7
wait
to
for
10
7
years.
to 10 years.
So
Yes.
you're telling me you're very patient.
Well, we are, but also we are huge fields of agave, so
Yeah.
we have different
Okay.
ages, and we are jumping
So
from
what-
field to field.
What is the size of a property, hacienda, or like how you call it?
Well,
that grows like
call it. There's many names. You can call it hacienda, which is the most usual.
Yeah.
You can call it rancho as well.
Okay, so what is the size of a rancho? Because
It's kind of very it's like to talk about vineyards. It could be a huge one. It could be a very small one.
So those people that grow this, they don't make it, they sell it.
Most of the people that owns the fields of agave,
Right.
they sell the agave. They don't make. But there's some others that they own the fields and they grow and they make the tequila from it.
Right.
Wow.
Yes, but it's kind of hard to say who is.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
size of just a place.
And usually they make this on location? Or
Yes, what happened is-
there is a cooperatives, like we have sometimes in Napa Valley where...
No, we don't have cooperatives like in here. It's more like every single farmer
Okay,
decides what to plant in their own fields.
okay.
And there's some others that they own their fields and they decide to plant agave just to make the tequila. So basically, it's like if you want to make tequila, you can buy it or you can
Yeah.
grow it. It's up to you.
Got it.
But there's not like a famous grower or something like that. It's just a lot of people
Not
growing
yet.
mezcal. Not yet. Yes.
Do you know Domaine Charbet?
Yes, I do the major.
Yeah, well, so do you think the tequila is good?
Yes, the
You?
tequila. Yes.
Don't lie. You can say that.
No,
you
no,
know,
no.
hey,
Chardonnay, are they the ones up on Spring Mountain?
Yeah.
They do a tequila?
Yeah.
Do they
Oh,
grow
yeah.
blue
Tapa-
agave here?
Tapa-
No,
no,
no.
they get it from
They get it from Jalisco.
Okay.
Yes.
So I noticed you brought a bunch of tequilas with you. So aside from the color,
Yes.
because we've got a couple of different ones here, tell me about the difference in tequilas.
Yes, we have basically we have two classes or categories of tequila, and we have different types.
Categories?
Categories. Sorry.
Okay.
And we have different
Categories.
types. Categories. Sorry.
Perfect.
sorry.
Got it.
These
I'm the blonde.
classes of tequilas, it's like this one, which is just tequila, or it was used to call 51% of agave tequila.
Okay.
Only 51% of the sugar, it's taken from the heart of the blue agave. Then we have these two, which it's a different class. This is 100% of agave tequila.
Wow.
So this, it's all the sugar, it's taken from the blue agave.
So if these are 100% and this is 51,
51,
where
yes.
is the other 49 coming from?
Cane sugar, it could be.
Oh,
Yes.
so these would be a better choice if you're going to be a tequila connoisseur. If you're going to
Absolutely.
drink it straight,
Yes.
this would be more of a margarita choice, or
It could be, yes. This usually is what we use to make blends.
plastic bottle too.
Yes. To be honest,
so it's good for the pool.
yeah. But to be honest, we don't use this. This is like something that it's less used every time, and
That's for the gringos.
it was very
Excuse me.
famous. It was very famous because at some point we have like this disease that kill a lot of our agave plants, and the production was in a very huge demand. So there was like this law in the appellation that says that you can use 51% of the sugar from the blue agave, and the rest it could be cane sugar.
Got it.
But now, and especially now that you have all these brands in the United States, it's what I suggest, and it's the best, is to have 100% of agave tequilas.
So I noticed that this bottle actually says that it's 100% agave. If
Exactly.
it's 100%, will they actually say that on the bottle?
Exactly.
when you
That's the
purchase
way.
it?
That's the way how you make the difference. If you take this bottle and you take a look of it, you ain't gonna find anything that
there's
says
no
100% of
Yeah.
agave. There's nothing. So the rule says that if you produce a 100% of agave tequila,
Got it. It says it
you can
somewhere
put
on the
it
bottle.
yes in the bottle. Yes, exactly.
But I noticed, okay, so we've got a couple of different colors.
Yes.
So I know in bourbon we age in oak barrels. Is that where you're getting the color? Or?
In tequila, we can use any type of oak barrel that we want. We can
Okay.
use second use from port, from cherry. We use a lot of second use from bourbon. Or it could be brand new. It could be American. It could be French. It's going to define a lot of the flavors in tequila. But the flavors that we are going to obtain from the oak, it's from the reposado to the añejo. We don't have any añejo or the extra añejo. We have 5 different types of tequila. Actually, we have two classes, which is
Okay.
just tequila,
For the
100%.
100%.
So let's focus on 100% because I only want to drink the good
Yes,
stuff.
and then you have the silver, sorry, and
Silver.
silver means that the tequila it has no aging at all,
Okay.
or it has an aging of less than 2 months in oak barrels. Then we have the reposado that the rule says that it could be aged from 2 months up to 1 year.
Okay, so that's
Then-
why it's really light, yeah?
Yes, and then we have the añejo, which the añejo means that tequila can be aged from 1 year up to 3 years. And then we have another more, which is the extra aged tequila. That means that tequila can be aged over 3 years and up to 7 or 10 years.
We have a live studio audience, by the way, so we poured some because we are drinking, you would call this silver, correct?
Yes, this is the silver.
So can you tell me, is this the proper glassware? Because I know
Yes, you
being
can-
a resident wino, we're very focused on the proper glass.
Proper,
for the
yes.
proper beverage.
Silver tequila is fine in this glass. The complexity of tequila is gonna be growing with the aging, all that kind of oak influence. So for tequila silver or tequila reposado, this kind of glass is perfect. If you then go to the añejo, you can use this one, or you can use snifters, or you can use the tall glass, like a port glass. Yes, that's perfectly fine.
What is your favorite?
My favorite tequila?
No, drink. Glass. I mean.
Glass. I'm very comfort drinking from this.
Okay, describe this tapatio here. And I'm doing this like for my good friend Marco.
Yes.
He's watching this shit here. So let's describe this and what you think about it.
Well-
He's a gringo making tequila.
Yes.
Oh.
And I'm Chubby. That's
Yeah.
Actually, not that much. Tapatio is very famous in Mexico. Tapatio is one of the most traditional ones. There's been a while since I haven't tasted Tapatio, but it used to be very traditional and very good tequila.
All right.
So it's a good tequila.
Chris,
So
drink
when
it.
we taste tequila, what sort of note should we be picking out? Because I'm not going to get any of the same notes that we get in wine. Like there's no cherries, there's no pencil shavings.
It could be
Peppery.
pencil. You can have pencil shavings.
Really?
Maybe not in this one.
Okay.
But there's some tequilas that are very mineral. We have 2 main regions right now in tequila, or 2. These regions are the ones that are one towards the Pacific side, which is it's called the lowlands. And in the Pacific side, we have the town of Tequila, we have the Tequila Valley, and the Tequila Volcano. And then the soil, it has a combination of volcanic stone and clay. But if you go to the east, you cross Guadalajara city, and you get to Los Altos, or the highlands, and then you don't have the influence of the volcano there in the soil, so it's almost 100% clay.
Wow.
So it is a
So you have
difference.
terroir.
Exactly. You have terroir in tequila. It's kind of something that some of the tequileros are going to agree with me. Some others don't. But
Okay, some of the Psalms agree
yeah,
with me,
exactly.
some don't.
We have
So-
a live audience question. Thank you, everybody, for
Thank you
joining
for
us.
watching, guys.
But they're tasting along with you at home, and Jennifer asks, how is the best way to taste it? Because they want to get on with it. They want to know.
Oh, so they want to drink tequila and they want to know how we should do it professionally. Okay, Christian.
Okay, so
your guidance, please.
All right, a good way is that you take a look of the color as well as in wine, which the color is going to give you a little bit of the weight as well as in wine. Which
Three
is
glasses.
yes, a little bit. But the color is not as important as when you take it to your nose. So usually you don't get much the first times. You have to taste a lot of tequilas to get that. It's the same case that with wine. So after
Right.
you taste and taste and taste, you start to get it. So usually silver tequila like this, you can get the citrus noses like lime peel, It's a bit mineral as well. If this has a little bit of oak, you can start to get some spiciness. But a lot of the silver tequilas also has this kind of black pepper.
Yeah, that's what I got. I mean, this is like really obvious to me.
And there's a very
I'm
kind
definitely a neophyte.
there's one aroma that is very typical in tequila, which is the smoky aroma from the cook.
Okay,
at
I
heart
could get
of
that.
Yes, so it's like to smell like imagine a sweet potato, but it's really cooked, almost as it's similar to that aroma.
Tastes like artichokes to me, to be honest.
Do you roll,
Artichokes and tequila.
do you roll in your mouth or you like a swallow? I just roll in my mouth, and this thing is, oh my God.
Yeah, the alcohol it's gonna be high. It's usually 35 to 40% of
That's
alcohol.
the thing for men. Oh,
What's-
sorry, for adults. Sorry, I'm sorry.
But
35 to 40%. What is that proof?
it's like 70 to 80 proof.
Yeah, that's
So
all.
it is, yes.
Yeah.
What I suggest to taste it even better is to put your tequilas in the freezer.
Okay.
Oh.
Nothing is going to happen because the amount of alcohol is going to stop it for freezing.
And you don't think that the temperature affects?
It's going to affect it, but it's better to have it a little bit chilled.
Okay.
And then it's going to take temperature in your palate.
and that's fine.
Than have it in the room temperature, and then when you taste it, it's like a hit of alcohol.
And it seems like to have like a more glycerin too, like isn't it? And when you put it in the freezer, it's just like a more like it's more not buttery, but
No, a
have
little
the
bit
sense
more
of
of
a
viscosity, more like yes.
Yeah.
It happens when you put it in the
Yeah,
freezer.
yeah.
But it's my best advice because room temperature, it's gonna be like a little bit like this, that you only have the alcohol first, then after a couple of sips, you never listen your first sip. Actually, you listen your second sip.
Okay.
So if you taste it
All right.
again, it's gonna be completely different.
Hello, hey, the ocean.
So now you have more of that sweetness. Right?
Okay, so I got a question. I'm in the wine business, and we always talk about how many bottles of wine you get out of a ton of grapes, which is 650 to 750, depending on 3-4 tons per acre. And this idea that it takes 7 years to harvest a plant means you've got to have 7 years worth of things growing all the time. So
Yes.
could you give us some idea of what the yields are like in terms of how many pounds or how many bottles of tequila you could get out of, like, say, an acre?
Yes. What happened is the agave plant. It needs to be planted 1.5 meter between one each other. You cannot get closer. You cannot get more
1 to
plants.
1.5 meters.
Meters.
Wow.
Yes. No, 1.5 is the less that you can do, because when you make the harvesting, is that you told this history before about people that it was defending themselves with it's really
You like
dangerous.
that? Yeah.
Well, it's what happens. The people that is going to harvest the tequila is going to get hurt. So that's why you need certain amount of space. Now you have certain amount of space. The size of the heart, it will depend on sometimes weather during those 7 to 10 years. Something that we have now with the global warming, it's that agaves tends to mature, to be ripe earlier, so are smaller. But usually the measurement is that you have in kilos, I don't know how it's going to be in pounds, but in kilos we need maybe 5-6 kilos of cooked agave to get 1 liter of tequila.
That's about square pounds.
5 to 6
Yeah.
So
kilos.
if you're,
13 pounds
if you're
almost.
at 1.5 by 1.5, that's roughly 5 feet by 5 feet.
Yeah.
So each plant's 25 square feet, and so that's density-wise, you're probably talking 1,800 plants per acre. That's a lot of plants.
Yes, it's a lot of plants. Yes.
I'm so glad you're good at math.
And is this all the same thing? I think it's the way you space them, because that's what I was thinking of, is our spacing. Is this done with a tractor, like an overhead tractor?
No,
or-
there's no way that you can do this with a machine. It's always made by hand.
So all the labor on the plants is hand?
It's all the labor is made by hand.
Oh,
There's so far there's no technology that allows you. Well, not technology, not a machine that allows you to harvest the heart in the field. It's kind of very hard, and these guys, these people, they call it jimadores. They use a very long instrument called coa. So it's very sharpened at the end, and they just cut off all the leaves, and they take the heart. The heart can weigh from
They rip it off.
yes, But you need to be you need to be careful, because if you harm the heart, you're gonna have these bitter flavors.
Oh,
in
that's
the
so. It has to
tequila.
be like a really. Okay.
Exactly. So they are very skilled. They are very skilled.
You were gonna
Just
say,
to give
how
you
much
an
does an
idea.
average heart weigh?
Sorry.
How much is the heart weigh?
It could be from 40 kilos to maybe 80 kilos. I know maybe that's.
Yeah, you know,
Wow.
this is America.
We're making the math, yeah. Yes.
That's 100 to 200 pounds.
Exactly,
For
something
one-
like that. Yes.
So I'm not going in this vineyard and like harvesting this thing.
No, you cannot. It's kind of heavy.
I could.
It's
You
hard
don't
work.
know.
Sorry.
You don't know.
That's like
Well,
Mexican.
we can find out.
So I moved us on. Oh,
sorry,
sorry.
go
Go ahead. No,
Well,
please.
just one last question. So while these things are growing for 7 years, you know, in the vineyards, we've got annual maintenance, we've got to do pruning, we've got to do watering, we've
What
got
you
to do all that. What is it a lower maintenance thing because you just get them in the ground, give them some water, and wait for 7 years? Or
There is certain maintenance, especially because the plant, what it like vines, plant wants to reproduce. So usually you get this flower coming. It's kind of a tree coming from the middle of the agave plant. If you get that, your plant, it's about to die. It's gonna flower, and after that, the cycle is completed. It's gonna die. So you need to cut off that. And also, there's something that we call barbeo, and the tips of these leaves, these very sharp
Bayonets.
leaves,
You know,
exactly.
yeah.
You cut it off because it tends to accumulate sugar there. So when you cut it off, all the sugar, all the starch goes into the heart. That's what you want. So there's certain maintenance. It's not like you leave it. You have also plagues. You also have like the worm of agave. It's a plague. And also you have these certain kind of disease that you need to take care of it. It's very resistant plant. As long as I've seen certain kind of vintage tequilas or single state tequilas. If you take in account that 7 to 10 years to grow the plant, which vintage it's the one that you're going to use. So things like vintage or single state, because after you take from this piece of land all the agave and you replant again, it's going to be another 7 years. At least that you make tequila every 7 to 8 years, you can talk about single state. Otherwise, it's almost
But you have single vintage.
no. We have just tequila. It's not even in the appellation.
That's a blend. That's like, you know. So what you do? Like,
No, it's usually you get all the field at the same time because you plant the field at the same time. So after 7 to 10 years, most of your field is going to be ready.
Okay.
And that's
no, but is it like, I think what Didi was trying to get to, is it like blended scotches where you might have various different ages all being blended into a finished product?
you can, as long as your plant is ready. It has enough starch. If it's not ready, what is happening is that you're going to have a lower yields because there's not too much sugar in it. So what you're really looking for, talking about a ripe heart of the plant, it's that contains enough sugar to make the fermentation.
what brings me like it seems to be like a lot of work and things like that. You know, my understanding in Mexico was like, you know, but it seems to me like, you know, tequila. We talk about tequila more and more and more and more. You know, which is really, really cool. So that makes like, you know, almost two big business that we know coming out of Mexico.
Yes.
One is the cartel and the other one is tequila. So, do you know of any haciendas or ranchos that are owned by the cartel, or what? How does that work?
No, I don't. Well,
Because it needs obviously it needs a lot of money.
yes, but I don't think that it's. I think they have the cartels have their own business and bigger business than tequila, I guess. But most of the companies right now, especially the bigger ones, are owned by international corporations. Like
Oh, is that
yes, the only one that still remains in Mexican hands, as far as I know, is Jose Cuervo. But for example, salsa, which used to be a very traditional,
Yeah, and you miss-
very old, they
Yeah,
start
yeah.
in 1870s.
Yeah.
Now it's owned by another international corporation,
Really?
Herradura, which is also a big producer.
All right.
It's owned by an international corporation. So it's like just Cuervo and maybe some other small.
So that's not even
producer.
owned by the Mexican, by the Mexican family. That's not even owned by.
It does, but what is owned by the Mexican families right now, it's the fields,
Okay. I got it.
not the
got
distilleries.
it.
Okay.
Yes. So just to be clear about this, is we have 13, maybe more than 1,300 brands of tequilas right now. But we only have 156 distilleries. So we need
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
fields of agave,
Yeah.
but that means that each distillery makes different brands of
Got
tequilas.
it. Like a
So-
custom crush.
Exactly.
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
So what you can do to find out that is if you take a look in the back of the label in
Yeah.
a bottle of tequila, you can see this number, right? 1456.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
There's going to be
Okay.
maybe another 2 or 3 brands with this same number. That
Yeah.
means that's
Coming from the same
the same distillery.
The same
Yes.
people, different price point, but it may be the same
Different
thing.
price point, maybe different owner,
Yeah.
because you can, instead of spend a lot of money producing agaves, getting a distillery and producing tequila, you can just own your brand and go
Yeah.
to one of these distilleries and say, well, I want my
So this
brand
is-
of tequila.
We
You
do
can-
have
you
another
can make-
question
This is
from
the
the
bounded
audience.
one.
Oh, and you may have answered this. I'm not sure, but I'm going to ask it for Jay Bruder, who is watching us live. Hi, Jay.
Hi, Jay.
What do you do with the leaf after the tip is cut off?
With the leaves,
Yes.
we leave it on the ground
Flowers.
to protect the soil.
Okay, that makes sense.
We leave it as it works as compost, and you know that if you, as in wine, as in the vineyard, if you leave just the ground,
Right.
there is going to
Erode.
erode. Yes.
Right. So you till it back in?
exactly. You cut off all the leaves, and you can leave it right there on the ground. And that's going to protect the soil, and also it's going to give you compost
sense.
to
Sure.
to the
Right back
soil.
to it, yeah.
Yes, that's
So
what we.
I moved on. I'm sure you didn't notice that I gave you my silver.
yes, I
I'm a nice girl.
noticed.
But it's a point,
And
yeah.
I moved forward, and the studio audience did as well, onto this other tequila that we have. And I noticed it has a little bit more color, and to me, it has a little bit more caramel notes. Is that because
Yes,
it's aged or?
that's the oak. That's the oak. Is this one? This is the
Yeah.
reposado. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So now we have influence of oak in here.
Okay.
And oak is going to give you vanilla. It's going to give you coconut, some more
Yeah, it's
spice
changed the
noses.
color a
yes.
lot.
It changed the color. It could be neutral oak. It could be second use. But in here, in this kind of tequila, which is a reposado, 2 months up to a year, you have now the caramel. You have
Yes.
this kind of even butterscotch aroma.
This is a little
Right.
bit more my
Yes.
style.
Right,
Yes,
right.
because it seems to be smoother. Even when
Yes.
they both have the same level of alcohol, these I like to compare these like with grapes. So in here you're having something that it's light, but it has a very strong and
Right.
raw character. In here you're having something that is more like a Pinot Noir. It gets smoother, it gets
Yes.
sweeter. That's it's the
Yes.
point, and it's easier to drink. If you are starting to drinking tequila, my suggestion is to start with reposado, not
Okay.
start with silver or the añejo. Añejo, people think that añejo or extra age it gets
Right.
smoother, but no, it gets more character, more structure from the oak aging.
So-
it gets really, really, it's more.
For
like
those at
bourbon.
home,
And that's more
you would
expensive.
recommend that we would go with 100%
Yeah, it's very expensive.
agave.
Yes. 100% agave.
We're gonna go with a reposado, but what are we gonna eat with it? Because I just want to skip to dinner because I'm hungry.
Yes.
So what do you? I mean, aside from Mexican food, because that would be way too easy. Tell me what you would pair with this.
What I do is the silver. It's seafood
Uh-huh.
or fish. It's
Yeah.
nice to it,
Oh,
and more and
lovely.
cook or like
Is it boil or grill?
grill,
layman?
boil. Yes, for this one it
Yeah.
could be either way.
Yeah.
But silver with fish and
Okay.
and seafood. Reposado, añejo. I like to do cooked food like barbecue ribs with something like this will be
that
really
would be
nice.
good.
Yes, and extra añejo, we do something that is very unusual. We pair that with dark chocolate. So go to the store that when they have this kind of 63 and over percent of dark cocoa
Yeah.
chocolates, and you take a sip of the tequila, the extra
Mm-hmm.
age with this kind of chocolate, and it's one of the best pairings that you can.
And
ever
I'll tell
have.
you what, that's awesome because you just answered Brian Green's question online.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So okay, so seafood,
Yes.
barbecue with reposado,
Yeah.
and añejo. That's the extra aged with dark
Añejo?
chocolate.
Yes.
Abacaña.
Okay.
Añejo.
Añejo?
Yeah.
Okay, we're running out of time because
are?
I have to go to dinner now. I'm really, really hungry. Christian, any last thoughts about tequila and pairing it?
Well, I think please, all the people that they think like you were thinking at the beginning that tequila is something that is going to have very like hangover next day, and it's very strong. Give a second chance with the correct tequila and enjoy it.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
you gotta spend some money. I mean, you know, a little bit. You know, I mean.
Yeah, it will be more expensive than something.
Yeah,
I think
I
it's
know,
actually, given the volume that I've drinking during
This
the
is
show,
for Tim.
you're actually
This
saving
is
money.
for Tim also. This is for Tim also.
So-
He likes to drink that.
All right, so we're going to sign off. Thank you so much for tuning in
Cheers, buddy.
to Not Taking Orders on ToutSuite.com. Well, we enjoy Christian and all of his wealth of tequila knowledge.
Thank you.
I'm going to drink the rest of this and not give it back to you. And,
But-
we look forward.
And by the way, there is a free room at the Esperanza Los Cabos.
In Los Cabos, yes, I work at Esperanza Resort. It's an Birch Resort in Cabo San Lucas,
And
Mexico.
for the 500 first people, you know, coming to me, you know, we'll have a free room.
Wait, hold on. Can we go back to that? Wait, because I'm all about free rooms.
Just like I was just kidding. Come on, cut it off.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Join us next time for ToutSuite.com, Not Taking Orders, where DDA is going to savor a bottle of still wine.
You're on camera.
Thank you so much, Christian.
My pleasure.
I like this one much better.
Yeah, it's
Sorry to
easier
give
to
you